Right guys, so we're back. Like I said, I was going to an extension, so here it is. In the extension, I'm going to be showing you how to make it so this money goes up, because otherwise it's not really a point of player actually depositing money into the ATM, it's just for roleplay, I guess. But 12-year-olds on Gmod don't like roleplay, they want to earn money and shit. Right, okay, so what we'll do is make so this goes up with interest, we'll also make it so there's a max amount they can deposit into their bank account, etc. Right, so what we'll do is we'll start with the interest actually. We'll start with the max value actually. So if we, to make it easier, we'll just withdraw the money currently, so 10k, 100k, to make it so it's 0. Right, okay, so let's make sure to withdraw the money. Make the max value, so let's clamp it, so we'll do it with deposit. So deposit money is greater than 0. We'll do it here. So if we'll add a config, actually create a config table, so I'll call it custom_ATM_config. This is basically just a global table, so we can store any value we want here. It's shared, so we can access from client and server. So I'll call this max stored. I'll call this, say, like, what, 100k or 1 mil? What is that, 1 mil? That's not 1 mil. Right, that's 1 mil. Right, okay, and now we save that, so that's a nice value we can easily access it later on. So now we check if apply, right, okay, because we want to make sure that once it's added it won't be higher. So if apply get stored is less than or equal to max stored, then do this, else throw the client an error with notification. Obviously we don't want those ugly console errors. Okay, so we'll notify the apply saying you can only store max of in your bank account. Right, okay, so that needs to be changed to the value here. So now if you try to deposit more than the amount, so if you deposit like 150k, shouldn't have an issue. Custom_ATM config. You might need to relog to make sure that it registers. It's not been run yet. Right, okay, so while we're relogging, I'll just wait through pretty quick to be honest. Right, there we go. Right, okay, so if we spawn the ATM, right, we'll try to deposit, let's deposit 1k. Right, okay, deposit 1k, if we try to deposit like 10k, 100k. Right, I don't have enough money, let's set money brick. Okay, so that's 1 million. So now if you try to deposit that's 10k, 100k, 1 million. You can only store a max of 1 million in your bank account. So if we try to add, well, that'll be 89, 989, 989, 123. So now we deposit 1 million, but we can't deposit anything over. If we deposit 100, then we can withdraw exactly like that. Right, okay, so now we've got a max, so you can't deposit, because you don't want to play a storing like a bunch of money in the bank account. I mean, you can obviously change this. If you just change that to an infinite amount, then you shouldn't be able to, there'll not be a max. But it's nice to have just in case. Right, I did say that I might add a max deposit, but I don't really see a point in that. But it's pretty easy, just make sure you have a variable, and you just basically check if the deposit money is greater than or equal to the max deposit, then don't let them do it. Right, so as for withdraw is fine. Now we'll quickly do the thingamajig, the interest. Right, I want to do the max deposit first so we can make sure that the interest didn't go over. So, what we can do is in the auto run, quick to the player spawns, this is going to be really simple. So we can just create a timer, call it timer.create, and if we go on the wiki, search timer.create, there we go, timer.create. It's the identify, the delay, the repetitions, and the function. So identify this can just be custom_ATM ATM underscore interest timer. Right, and then the delay, and then the repetition. So delay, we can set this in the config, so I'll call it interest time. It's basically how often will the player's bank account balance go up. So we'll say every, like, just for the sake of testing, we'll do every 5 seconds. So now we've got that, we can put that there, and then as for the number of repetitions, that will just be 0 because we want it to infinitely repeat, and then the function, let's do that here. And what we could do now is basically make so every time it runs this time, it increases the thingy. Right, so now we can do if is valid apply, then do this else if the player's not valid, basically if they're disconnected. Remember, this will basically run even after a player's disconnected. And actually, that's why I need to make it unique. So we'll call it underscore, and then we'll do a toString apply. So the player is always going to be a unique entity on the server. Even, well, we'll do apply Steam ID just to be sure. Actually, we don't need to add toString then, I don't believe, because apply Steam ID is already a string. Right. So basically, this time is going to be unique to the player. So if the player is valid, then do stuff. But if not, basically if they've disconnected, then we want it to make sure that it removes the timer. We don't want that. If you have a bunch of timers running even after the player is disconnected, it's going to start to lag out the server if it builds up. So just do time.remove, and then the unique identification of the timer. Right. Okay. So now if the player is valid, we can just we can do apply, we just basically edit their current value, apply set network, and we'll actually do something called local new balance, and that'll be equal to their current balance. It's going to be applied, so their current balance, and then we're going to be times and get so interest rate. So basically how much is times by, so we want it to obviously stay the same, so we want to times by 1, and we want to add a bit, so 0.25. This is going to be really OP. Remember, you want to fiddle around these values to get it nice to work for your server economy. Basically just need to times that by the interest rate. But then if we keep doing that, it's going to just go over the max amount allowed in ATM. So we want to use something called math.clamp. So just use math.clamp, so the value that you insert, and then the minimum value, and then the maximum value, which is just max stored. And then there we go, and then we just set the network or their balance to apply money to new balance. Also, we want to update the ATM file as well. Right. Okay. So that should hopefully start interest rate. Obviously it's not going to work now because we've already disconnected, so let's just withdraw. That's 10k, 100k, 1 mil. We'll add like 10k in, actually, that'll make it easy to see. Then we'll disconnect, because remember their timer only actually gets created once they on their first join. So if you edit this code like midway, it's not going to start. Right, okay, so custom ATM, we spawn that in. And now spawn it, see our amount's going to go up every 5 seconds by 1.25. And this is basically easy way of doing interest. Obviously, you like 100% want to fiddle with the values. And if you see there, it's got 0.25, then it's got 0.4 decimal values. You really don't want that. Because in real life, you don't really get to point of something, unless you like put pennies and stuff. But most DarkRP servers don't really do that. So DarkRP.format money here, we want to use math.round on it. So just do math.round, and that should hopefully round it off. There we go. That's a nice value now. Anyway, so this is going to constantly go up. We can like withdraw a bunch of money. Actually, what we could do is can add a bit of money in to, help boost it along to show that. 50k, 500k, so that's going to just keep going up. And you'll see the next one, it will be clamped at 1 million, hopefully. There we go, so it's clamped at 1 million. The time is going to be running in the background. I don't really want to stretch this episode out a bit, so we're going to leave it as this. But it's not the most efficient way. Most of this isn't, but it's obviously for new people. Right, anyway, so that's a basic ATM with interest rates, etc. All the code will be in the description. Make sure to grab it if you are having issues and check against it. Also, the Discord link will be in the description. A lot of people are on there that will happily help you. And make sure to subscribe, it always helps. Also, liking is very nice. And thanks for watching, take care, have a lovely new year.